Now, this is the type of moral clarity we need to see with people standing up against the Trump regime. And it's good to see law enforcement in cities across the country speaking like this. I want to see more people speak like this. This is in Philadelphia. It's Philly's Sheriff Rochelle Bilal. And here she says, look, if you do this in Philly, we're going to arrest you. You come here with your masks and you start harassing our people, you will be placed under arrest. You will be prosecuted. This is what moral clarity looks like. Let's play it.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. This should not have happened, but we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States. Did you hear what I said? No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None. None. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who say he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested there. No whisk away for them to hide you. None of that here. None of that here. Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles. I'm not saying fleeing, because she wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way. Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles invoking an action that is illegal. No, we don't. And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement. Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law. So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will whisk you off. You don't want this smoke, because we will bring it to you. And the fake, whatever they call them, because I can't say the name, but the criminal in the White House would not be able to keep you from going to jail. Renee Good should be here today. And to her family, we are saying law enforcement professionals are not the ones here in this city that would do that. But here's the last thing that I will say. Law enforcement professionals around the country do their job, and we have been fighting for years to build that bridge between us and our communities. You have one negative nutcase that causes this problem, and now we all have to fight again to let people know law enforcement works with communities. These crimes would not be down if we didn't have communities work with us. Thank you.
It should also be noted that homicides in Philadelphia under her leadership and that of DA Larry Krasner dropped to its lowest level in 60 years. And here's what Krasner had to say. Let's play it.
If any law enforcement agent, any ICE agent, is going to come to Philly to commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here. Because if you do that here, I will charge you with those crimes. You will be arrested. You will stand trial. You will be convicted, whether it's in state or federal court. It's my office prosecuting it. That's how the law works. And you will do your time.
Now let's bring in Democratic Congresswoman Sydney Kamlager-Dove. It's great to see you, Congresswoman. And You've been speaking with that same moral clarity. And when I saw those videos of people saying, this is what's happening, these ICE agents are terrorizing our communities. They are the ones engaging in these criminal acts. They're Donald Trump's paramilitary groups. We just need to speak like that. And so I thought I'd start off showing those clips. What's your reaction to that, though? But just overall, what's going on right now?
So many things. Thank you for having me on your show again. You have so many fans in my district. My heart goes out to Renee Good and her family and her community who had to watch her get murdered. Essentially on this video that has been seen around the world, she was killed in cold blood. I am obsessed with the sheriff in Philly. And she said it right. You do not want this smoke. And we actually need to hear more of that from law enforcement officials around the country who are being given a bad name because of these ICE goons. We don't know if they've been trained. We don't know what training they've been given. You've had the vice president say that they have absolute immunity, which is legally and morally untrue. And they are out here in these streets terrorizing and killing our friends and family members. And I thought the mandate for ICE was to get folks who are here illegally, who are committing criminal acts. But that is not what we saw with Renee Good, a U.S. citizen who was trying to get away from a goon who said, "Get the fuck out the car," and then shot her through the window. Okay, that is not how you de-escalate. That is certainly not how you involve due process to find out what she was doing, where she was going. And that is not how you should employ lethal force. Lethal force should be the measure of last resort, not of first resort. So these folks need to be investigated. It should not be handled by the FBI. They should be prosecuted. Kristi Noem needs to resign. She should be impeached. And we need to have a moral reckoning with this country about the man in the White House and how he is turning law enforcement into, like you said, paramilitary agents at the federal level and hostages within their own city at the local level, because local law enforcement have to deal with the consequences that they now face because ICE is coming into their communities creating mayhem.
And then here's what Donald Trump said in an interview where this is how he describes what Renee Nicole Good did. Here, play this clip.
She behaved horribly. And then she ran him over. She didn't try to run him over.
The video didn't look like he was run over.
It's a terrible scene.
And he just goes and makes up something that didn't happen. And then they call her a domestic terrorist and say she weaponized her vehicle. They said that even before the video was out. And now that the video's out, we know that didn't happen. But you touch upon something so important, that we need to have a moral reckoning. And I think so much in politics is gamified and personality based. And it's like, what's this person doing or that person? Or are you worried about this person running against you or this person? It's just like, nah, take a step back and let's talk about morality and let's talk about good versus evil. Because right now there's a lot of evil out there. And the banality of evil, a term that was used during the Holocaust, of its normalization, that it's just done in a way that is permeating all aspects of society. That's happening here. And we need to just say, this is bad, and take a step back. And I hope that happens. And that's what I love about watching hearings with you, is that you speak that way.
Well, we had a judiciary hearing yesterday to talk about some bail bills. And of course, Democrats used it to talk about the murder of Renee Good. And I had Republicans on the dais, they said, you know what? You know what the video shows me? That if you don't comply, you will die. There were multiple Republicans who said that. So of course I had to push back. I said, would you be saying that if this person was in your district, one of your constituents, went to the church where you worship? You wouldn't be saying that. So let us investigate. Let us talk about it. But you have ICE agents who are judge, jury, and executioner. And that is not what the law says. And I'm going to tell you something else. Nobody said that about the January 6ers, did they? So they didn't comply. They put bear spray in the eyes of Capitol Police officers. They hit them and bludgeoned them with poles, and they were given due process. They were charged. They were put in jail, but they were given due process. And then you know what they got for not complying with the law? A pardon from Donald Trump. And dozens of them have gone out to commit additional crimes. So I am so sick of the duplicity and the hypocrisy and the bullshit when tax-paying citizens are being murdered in the streets by ICE.
Where do we go from here? What are the action steps that people can take? I mean, you start this year off, unlawful invasion of Venezuela. Trump says it's about oil. We need to seize their oil. American people need to subsidize oil companies for $100 billion to apparently take over Venezuela and oil. You've got ICE, Gestapo invasions in Minneapolis, murdering people, in cold blood. We saw Congress somewhat asserting itself, Republicans joining on a war powers resolution, Affordable Care Act subsidies extension. Trump will block all of that, though, so I doubt it actually gets implemented. Trump covering up a child sex trafficking ring with the Epstein files. And so there's a lot on people's minds. So if they're going to the school of Kamlager-Dove, what do you want people to know right now heading into this year?
I want people to know that we have to keep doing what we're doing so that the fever breaks. This fever needs to break. And I do see some glimmer of hope. Yes, this man is stealing oil from Venezuela, but we have to talk about not how illegal all of that is, but how that does not help anyone here. It's not like he stole 1,000 gas stations and this oil is, ready at the making and it's going to lower the cost of your gas. You're still going to be paying more money at the grocery store with your rent and at the gas pump. You know why? Because we are going to have to be paying he's going to take more of our taxpayer dollars to continue to ravage and rape and pillage Venezuela and any other country that he's thinking about going into. But the work that we did over the summer with the ACA, the shutdown, being in the streets, talking about healthcare, that's what got us a discharge petition with 4 Republicans to sign on to it, and ultimately a vote in the House with 17 Republicans. They know that they're vulnerable. They know that they're going to lose. They know that they're going to lose the House in 26. They know that the American people are angry. That is why the Senate voted on this war powers resolution with Republicans joining in. Listening to the stories about January 6th is why the Senate voted unanimously to put up the plaque. That is because of the pressure of the American people, who every single time something crazy happens, pulls out the ledger and says, I'm looking at the receipt, and the receipt from your illegal, immoral actions is not making me safer, is not making the cost of living go down for me, is not giving me peace and moral clarity with you at the helm. So we have to keep leaning into this. And I believe that the fever will break.
Congresswoman Kamlager-Dove, thank you for joining us as always. And to all the people in California's 37th, the Midas Mighty out there, we love having your Congresswoman on. She's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Everybody, hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.